going on, guys? Welcome back to MLW Network. I am again
What's
joined by
up?
Connor the Cobra's friend, aka Connor, and, and I'm also joined by
Hello,
ECK
guys. How you
Splits,
doing?
aka Ethan. So today we have for you guys hot takes, 5 hot takes for the whole season coming up in 2021. These are going to be pre-draft, so I don't have mine that affect the draft really, and so we're going to go ahead and just jump into it.
Ethan, I will warn you, you might want to mute your ears. Predicting that the two teams that were in the 2019 World Series missed the playoffs this year, those teams being the Pacific Predators and the Eastern Eagles. I think the Eagles, it's forthcoming. I think depending on who the Mallards get, the Eagles will have a weak lineup like they have ever since Crash left. I don't think their draft pick will be phenomenal. I think it can be solid. But the Preds is a little more shocking. Now, in my prediction, I didn't write I don't know if we're doing like preseason rankings. I didn't write down records, but I think I was talking with a friend and I said I predict that the Preds and the Cobras will both go 7-8, but due to tiebreakers, the Cobras would get it.
Oh, come on. The Preds have killed the Cobras. Like, I know the 2018 ALDS,
That
my
was
least favorite.
beautiful. Daniel Schultz's shadow, baby. Daniel Schultz's.
I mean, they swept them in 2018. They 2-1 and swept them in the 2019.
Yeah.
And then this year they 2-1 them. Dr. Michael Page.
Yeah, I just have a feeling that our draft pick will be good. And I would like to mention this super quick. Yeah, I thought he was saying Daniel Schultz's channel because of Kyle and that they have to face them. But evidently was shout out for Cratch. Clearly he was not next year MVP. So he should not.
Ryan Cratch.
Cratch,
in 2015 and 2016.
I adore Cratch. He should not have won the MVP. I think.
Yep. Daniel should have. I'm a Predators fan. Ryan Cratch is my favorite player in the league. I have his jersey. Yeah. I still think Daniel should have won MVP.
Dan should have won the MVP, but that is for that's another topic for another day.
Yep.
That's another topic. All right. ECK, what is your first hot take for the
should
year?
I go with like my biggest one? I guess?
Sure, why not?
All right.
Do whatever order you want, man.
Becomes the number 2 pitcher.
I had that same thing. No. Okay. I had Drew and Tommy will become number 2, but I had that same thing on my list.
I had that at first, but then I was looking Tommy had a 2.07 ERA or something. But then I was watching back the Diamondbacks and Mallard series, and I realized that his ERA going into that series was 1.38, and he didn't really pitch much. So I'm like, okay, that couple of innings kind of killed him, and he didn't really pitch much. So, I mean, I did have him there, but fun fact, in 2018, Drew Davis's ERA was closer to Ryan Gable than Tommy Coughlin.
Oh, my God. How? What?
Yes. Drew had a 4.7 ERA. Gable had a 7. And then I believe it was around for Daniel. Daniel had 1.87. Kyle was around around there too. And then Tommy was 1.65 or something. Mm-hmm. So, yep, fun fact.
Wow, that is funny. You can hear the Cobras fans groaning all the way from here. So for my first hot take this year, it's kind of this is my first one. Not too crazy, but I think that this year is the last year there will be 8 teams in the league. I think it's going to be inevitable that we are going to have to expand with all the players and all the future, with everything going on with the draft. I think that it just makes logical sense to at least expand to 10 teams the next year.
Name is the Tropical Tribe. Kyle mentioned it. He was like, no. He even said, I'm kicking myself for not naming the Diamondbacks Tropical Tribe. So that would be the first. All
right, go check out Connor's video on.
Connor just made a video on it too. Yeah,
because I have Ryan Cratch captaining the tribe, and no offense, once Ryan Cratch leaves the Predators, which I think at one point he will, the Predators will be out of the league within 2 years because unless they can find someone great, the Predators will fall apart without Ryan Cratch.
And I look. I remember. So in the Illinois video, so they said, "Oh, we got a Cobras hater here," and I commented like 12. That's not me, but I'm also a Cobra hater too. I
really guys do that to me, Ethan.
I'm really a Drew hater. Like I don't think I'm a Cobra hater. I'm more of a Drew hater.
Oh, I love Drew.
Like Drew.
Drew's
like
so great.
But like
he's
on
one of
the
my favorite people.
Field,
like,
I don't need to get into that.
You like him off. You like off the field, Drew. Not
just watch
the
Wildcats series in 2020.
Okay. Yeah.
And the 2019 ALCS, and you'll versus the Preds, and you'll see what I'm talking about.
I kind of did this with my second newest video, I guess you could call it. Jorgensen gets traded. Now I posted a Instagram poll on who is going to be the Gators ace next year, Jorgensen or Cheatham. Most people said Jorgensen. I kind of disagree with. I think if Cheatham can find a second pitch aside from that super curve, he has a little drop going on, but it's not like Norris or Tommy's or like even Jorgensen's drop. It's not that kind of drop. So if he can find a second pitch to go along with that super curve, I think he could very well be their ace. And not that Jorgensen's a bad dude, but I feel going from the number 1 overall pick to a second arm, he'd have a better opportunity somewhere else. So my prediction is that Jorgensen.
Yeah. I totally agree. I mean, I was just thinking about it. I was just thinking to myself, like, what if the Wildcats just say, "I don't care," and they just give up a bunch of their draft picks and just say, "Hey, Brendan Jorgensen."
That'd be awesome, and I bet – no, why'd I just say that'd be awesome? You're a Preds fan. That'd ruin the Cobras and Preds. Like, why do you want –
Here's the reason why I said that. They have the exact perfect team. I've talked about it earlier. Schultz, he can hit for power. He can hit for contact. He's an all-around hitter. He's a really good pitcher, right? Mm-hmm. Then you got Nick Saylor. In my opinion, will be the best hitter in the league next year. He is awesome. He has unbelievable power. He hits the ball super hard. Ooh. And then you have Brendan Jorgensen, who is a contact hitter. The Diamondbacks have, I guess you could say, a 3-star lineup, or I guess the Cobras too. But that is a true 3-star lineup. Mm-hmm. Like, what Wildcats would have there is they'd have the best number 2. I think Kyle maybe has like the best all-around player, and then Nick Saylor is the best power hitter. They have the best everything.
Yeah, and so, I think I say the most popular destinations if Jorgensen would get traded would be to both the Mallards and the Magic. Hear me out. Because of Bonham and Chadwick, I think the bond between Cheatham and Jorgie is very special, and he'd want to almost replicate that. And Bonham and Chadwick were on the trains, so I feel like the most possible destination for him to go would either be the Mallards or the Magic, and preferably I'd like it to be the Mallards come and affect the Cobras. But those are my possible destinations for him.
I have one little thing before you add on. I think something that I personally believe is that I think that you're going to stop seeing people refer to pitchers as secondary pitchers.
Yeah.
I think at this point, like, the league is getting so good that you're going to have guys who are just going to see people better. Like, Dan is really able to see Jorgie really well. And so Chris is probably going to pitch against the Eagles, and I think that's going to be probably something you see more and more is that you're not going to see secondary pitchers. You're going to see 2 starting pitchers just pitching based off matchups. But that is definitely in the future. Well, in the future. Yeah, go ahead, ECK.
Is Brendan Russell bounces back to 2019 Brendan Russell. 2018 Brendan Russell is impossible. With how the league is right now. I don't think anybody is going to have a 500 batting average and 8 home runs. Not happening.
Norp almost did. He batted 439.
I don't see the homers, though. But Brendan Russell, if you're watching this, which you're probably not, against the Wildcats and stuff, he's just swinging at a lot of high pitches. I don't know what it is. He was just chasing a lot of high pitches, and I think that's a reason why he he struggled this year, and I think if he stops doing that, he's gonna be back to an all-star, which is what I think he's gonna do.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, I mean, I really hope that Brendan Russell really turns his season around. He played all right. He just struggled a lot this year, and I think you're definitely going to see a bounce back for him. So going on to my hot take, I think that you will not see a single sweep in any series this year. No, I don't think there's going to be. I don't think there's going to be any games where there's 3-0. For one reason, I think every game is going to be 2-1. There was
one sweep that I had to think of.
One word: Diamondbacks.
One word. Actually, no, not one word. 2 words. Wildcats, Magic. I think it's gonna happen.
I just say this.
See, I still don't.
The Magic are ahead of the Wildcats on my power rankings. The Magic are the most underrated team.
No way.
The Magic are the most underrated team going into 2021. And without a draft pick, they can still succeed because in my mind, I don't care what people say, they have the best 3-man lineup in MLW. All 3 of them can hit, and if Agner returns to his 2019 form, all of them can hit for power. 2 of them
just look at Liam Jackson against the Preds. And people don't realize it, but Ryan crashed, in my opinion, like in the first half of the year.
Hold up. Preds ALDS or Preds regular season?
Both.
Okay.
Both, actually. I know there was that one that went off the coping on the fence, but I think the Magic are I don't see it for the simple reason that Jason Chadwick, in my opinion, is an overrated pitcher.
Oh, that is a terrible take. I just got to call it out.
Awesome
no way.
Stuff. He gave up 22 runs, which I believe is
Chadwick is leaving the Discord server and disliking all of your videos after that. Like,
let him explain himself.
And I was just looking at the videos, and I'm like, I don't know. Like Chadwick, like I definitely think he's a solid pitcher. Like he is a solid pitcher, but I don't think he's quite as good as people are talking about him to be. Same with Liam Jackson. Though Chadwick as a hitter is underrated, but Chadwick as a pitcher, I feel like he's overrated.
Also, I will say this. Ryan Cratch set the record for Ks with 90, right? Until that, Chadwick had 84 strikeouts. That's 6 less. And listen to this. One, they brought him out for some of, I believe, game might have been 2 or 3 in the Cobra series so that he could pitch in game 3. And that held him back. Also, Ryan Cratch played a 7-inning game against the Wildcats, which.
But it's a 2-inning. It was a 1-inning difference.
Which
Cratch
threw
37 innings. Jason threw 36.
But then up until their final series, Chadwick leading the league in strikeouts. And Chadwick, I know, doesn't have the most flashy pitches. Like he has like a riser and a slider and like a small drop. And I just want to say this: Jason Chadwick is a super, super nice guy.
Oh yeah,
he is really, really nice. I had him on my podcast. He was really cool to talk to and stuff. And he has overall ton of cool stories. But I know he might not be the most flashy pitcher, but he gets the job done for the Magic. And I will say this: he is loads better than Kyle Hook ever was.
Yeah, and actually, Nick had said this a couple times. Like sometimes, Jason would shut out a team, and then his ERA would be sky high, which is kind of what happened.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Too many walks.
He walked himself to death. 60? Really, he really did. I think it was 40. It was 40. I think. I don't know how much he did in the playoffs, but he. He
had a lot of walks.
He led the league in walks. I'm pretty sure.
Are we certain that Drew Davis didn't lead the league in walks? Because even as a Cobras fan, I'll admit that man's the walk pitching king right there.
That's true. That's his whole mentality too. It's like
Tommy
to give out
also
a walk
gives
and a
out
home
a lot
run.
of walks. Oh, Drew had 59 walks and Chadwick had 60. That was close.
So, yeah,
you're right. It was 60.
He even said his main improvement for the team, for the Magic team in general, was just to not give up as many blocks.
All right, moving on. Connor, your third hot take.
So, I say whoever, and I guess this kind of goes with the draft. Whoever the Mallards draft will win Rookie of the Year. I just think going into Tommy Coughlin's system, Tommy Coughlin has the most professional management style in MLW, I would say.
I agree.
I find it so
Tommy
funny.
Is a class act,
just,
honestly.
Like, some people's, like, answers, like, in, like, the Winter League, in, like, the draft video, like, Dan, like, okay, we need hitting. Warder, like, yeah, like, not much. Zerlag, someone that can pitch and can hit, but then Tom is, like, someone that has a crap ton of potential that can develop into a star player in, like, MLW, and it just sounds, like, so professional, and, like, just compared to everyone else. And I think if there's any team that you want to go to, it'd be the Mallards. And even like Bonham, I think from the beginning of the season to the end of the season, he improved drastically in Tommy Coughlin's system. So whoever the Mallards draft will win Rookie of the Year. That is my hot take.
So ECK, what is your next hot take?
So my next hot take is the Mallards bounce back. Now this is kind of a hard one because here's my thing. If that number, like 2 or 3 overall pick works out, I think they're going to be a good team. If it doesn't, it's going to be a rough season for the Mallards. Just look at the impact Nick Saylor had on the Wildcats. I think it's a kind of a similar scenario over there. So I do think the Mallards can bounce back. I trust Tommy Coughlin to make the right pick. And I do think that they will bounce back. So
I agree with that. I mean, I feel like at the very least, I feel like the Mallards at least make the playoffs.
Yeah.
But I feel like that isn't it the number 2 overall pick?
Yeah, they have the
it's number
2.
I feel like that's just gonna make such a big impact. Like
I had Tommy on my podcast. He said the roster is gonna be him, Bonham, and TWD. So I assume that either means he's gonna roll with Johnny Bean or draft pick. I'd go with the draft pick, but that's just me.
Yeah, I would bet like $1 billion that it's the number 2 overall pick. Like seriously. No, I wouldn't, but you know what I mean. Like I don't think Johnny Bean. I mean, I don't think he got like a hit in 6 games. So, I mean, I don't think you bench him for the number 2 overall pick.
All right. I guess I'm up now for my hot take number 3. And so my number 3 hot take is that the Eagles are going to be under 500 this year.
Yes.
I agree.
And
I agree with that.
The reason I say that is not from a standpoint of talent, because we know Dan and we know that whoever they draft are going to be pretty talented. I think from a team chemistry-wise, the roster is going to be a very large roster next season. Getting people in and out is going to be difficult, getting like team chemistry. And so I feel like this next year for the Eagles is probably going to be kind of a building season for the 2022 season. That not to say that, you know, if they go 8-7, like I would be super surprised, but I definitely think that the most likely thing that's going to happen is they'll go under 500, just simply because they've got a lot of moving parts for next season. Unless they can pull something like the Gators and just be absolutely dominant next season, I would be very surprised if that happened, though.
Yeah.
If they cut Neil Smith, though, which I doubt it. If I'm telling you right now, if they sit Neil Smith for that like number 5 overall pick, I don't like that because like I know people say, oh, it's just one batter, but that batter bats a lot of times in the game. So I'm sure that number 5 overall pick would be better than Neil Smith. So I think that like if they kind of like put Neil Smith out of the batting order, that could help them. And like here's the thing with Zach Whalen. Like, he's been very inconsistent. Like, he's had those games where, like, oh, my God, this is what we thought he was going to be. And then he has those games where you're like, okay, he did not play well today. So that's the thing with Whalen. And, I mean, Daniel Schultz is Daniel Schultz.
Yeah.
Nothing else I need to say.
Yeah, I don't think I don't think a team has ever brought more than 5 players. And I think the problem with the Eagles is that group is so tight and for Dan, it's almost friendship over wiffle ball.
Oh yeah.
So it'll be it will be hard for Neil and Clayton. I don't think Clayton is their number 2 option on the mound. I think he has other opportunities to be a number 2 option, and an option could be the Preds.
Yes, I would love that. I was thinking about that the other day.
I think the Kratz connection could potentially lead him to the Preds. But yeah, I mean, what the very first hot take I had was Preds and Eagles miss the playoffs. Obviously, if you have a sub 500 record, you're typically not going to make the playoffs. I know it happened with the Magic this year and the Diamondbacks last year.
Yeah, Connor, what's your number 4 hot take?
It kind of argues Ethan's case with the number 5 pick to Neil, but rookies 4 through 8 aren't good, which that means that the Diamondbacks, the Preds, and the Wildcats don't get good picks, and then the Eagles and the Cobras don't get good secondary picks. I just think that this year's rookie class I don't think anyone could have ever expected it. And you can even throw Jonah Heath and Liam Jackson in it because technically they were rookies. This class was outstanding. Aside from Max Tom, I don't even know how you say his last name. Who we didn't see much of. This rookie class was amazing. I'd even say Swanson's very promising. Yeah. But I don't think you'll ever see a rookie class like that. And especially because they're going based off a tournament, while the Winter League, you could see them over a course of 3-4 weeks. This, you're only basing it off of one day of wiffle ball that you're watching them do.
Yeah, I know, right? So I was actually thinking about it, and I'm like, dude, Cheatham was picked 6th overall. The Preds are freaking 6th, but I'm like, okay, no way.
Well, I mean, I almost want to agree with you, Connor, but at the same time, if that were the case, I feel like teams that have an extra pick, aka the Cobras, but Cobras are going to get Gus, or the Eagles would try and trade out of it. What if the Magic? I feel like with the lack of off-season kind of what to trade, I almost feel like what if there is some sleeper picks that we don't know about yet.
And Tommy told me that he's been. I said whoever the Mallards draft will win Rookie of the Year because that system's so good that. And Tommy did say he has a couple of players that he has his eyes on. I think I know who the Cobras are drafting. He's evidently Drew knows exactly who he's drafting with his one. I've seen a lot of people saying who he will draft, and I think number 2. I think I know who Tom is going to draft too. But once you get to Dan, I think Dan can draft a good player at 3. But after that, I think it's either hit or miss. So
yeah, the Diamondbacks they don't really need a good
Diamondbacks don't need anything.
Yes, I will agree with you on that.
Diamondbacks don't need anything. I'd say the Preds, if Swanson and Brendan Russell can improve their bats, I wouldn't say they need anything. They might need secondary pitching. Yes. And the Wildcats just need secondary pitching.
Yeah. And a lot of people don't realize it, but I'm not really that nice to Neil Smith, I'll say, about, his batting average and stuff. But, Ryan Kelly's around that area. But the difference with Ryan Kelly is he sets up Nick Saylor and Kyle Schultz.
Yeah.
In my opinion, it's tough, but I actually think they're the 2 best hitters in the league.
Who? Kyle and Nick Saylor?
Yeah.
I can agree with Saylor.
I don't know if they're the 2 best, but yeah. They're definitely top 3, top 5. Yeah. There's no question. If you say anything otherwise, then it's a bad take. Yeah. But you can definitely put them in the top 2. I don't think that's a bad take at all.
This next one isn't exactly a hot take. It's funny because we were just talking about this team 2 seconds ago. And that's the Diamondbacks. I have them having the 1 seed, and I have all Jimmy, Jonah, and Ben Wilson all making the All-Star game. The reason for that is I think they just work perfectly together. I'm just saying this. if Jimmy Norp is second half regular season Jimmy Norp, and if Ben Wilson is more consistent at the plate, this team is going to win an insane amount of games. I still think even, if Ben Wilson isn't, as great, that isn't that consistent. And Jimmy Norp, I'm not sure because, the playoffs, I'm not sure what exactly to think about that series. But if Jimmy Norp is second half Jimmy Norp, and if Ben Wilson is really consistent, this team will pop off. And I mean it. And Jonah Heath is underrated. I really like him. He has a lot of good stuff. And I do think he's better than Liam Jackson is.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, looking at the Illinois video, I mean, those guys made it all the way to the championship. So that being Jimmy Norp and Jonah Heath.
And
so
and Gus.
And Gus. Don't forget Gus. But I mean, they definitely have the talent. They can go up against a lot of teams and still be really competitive. Just Jimmy and Jonah, also Gus. But adding Ben Wilson to that roster as well is just Ben can hit bombs when he has to. So it's going to be the draft pick will be interesting to see what Jimmy does with it. All right, so out to my number 4 hot take. I think that Trevor Bonham will have an average above 300 this year in 2021. I think that he's definitely underrated as a hitter, and if you look at 2 tournaments and the Winter League, I think that he's a great batter. He's really exceptional. I think that this past year was an off season, and I think that you will see kind of him taking off this season for sure. I know, Connor, you said something similar earlier about Trevor being really underrated, and I definitely agree. I think Trevor is going to be a super sophomore next year, or this year.
Yeah, I have to agree with that. I mean, I have called him Tournament Trevor, which I think is interesting. But I really do think he can. If you just watch him, he was doing really well. So I think he has a high ceiling. Just like Tommy said, at the tournament or at the Winter League, he was saying he wanted to get a guy that could build into a phenomenal player. He didn't say is, he said build into, and he's already a pretty good pitcher. And if he can be a pretty good bat, I like the Mallards this year. I was not high on them until I listened to that Pipe It Up podcast, and Tommy Coughlin said, I feel I'm confident. And I was just thinking about it, and I'm like, yeah, this could really work out. So, Mallards, hopefully you have a good season, and yeah.
I think the Mallards have kind of shied away from 3-man rosters. I know in the playoffs, in the 2017 playoff, I don't know why I'm saying playoffs, but they went with McPeak, Gabrico, and Tommy. And then in 2018, they went with...
We almost lost to the Seahawks. I have to put that in there. I'm sorry.
They added...
It needs to be said.
They added Austin Ford, and then in 2019, it was Johnny Bean instead of McPeak. And that one wasn't horrible, but I think for the next maybe 3 years, even... I feel even if they get a draft pick, I feel they're going to get a later draft pick, maybe, I think 4 and up, because I don't think they're going to be one of the worst 3 teams. So I think the roster of Bonham, Tommy, and whoever they draft this year is going to stick for a while. Kind of jumping off Nickens' hot take, I have Bonham becomes a top 10 player as my final hot take. Kind of like he said, his hitting will improve, and he already has very good pitching. I think the only problem with his pitching is his 2 main pitches are a slider and a riser, which I know from personal wiffle ball experience. Those pitches can be, over time, they can get easy to hit. So I think if he adds some sort of drop, or I know Dan and Heath have a knuckle drop almost, or Cheatham super curve, if he can add a pitch like that, I think he's set on the mound, and he could potentially become the ace. If the Mallards draft a pitcher, I'm going to be very interested to see what Tommy decides to do on the mound, if he wants to sit him and go with the two rookies, if he wants to sit Bonham and play the rookie, or if he wants to sit the rookie, like whatever. It'll be very interesting to see what the Mavericks do next year. But my final hot take is Bonham becomes a top 10 player.
Wow, I mean, that's definitely a hot take, I would say. One of the bigger ones, even. All right, my last one.
It's hard to know.
This one's I don't know. This one's interesting. I was thinking of a different one, but it's Sean Flynn leads the league in batting average. And the reason why I say that is because I just feel like if he really settles into his role because I feel like, we'll see where Drew is next year, but Andy was kind of that all-around guy that just did everything, and then, I feel like just having him, he did it 5 home runs, which I know doesn't sound great, but in MLW, it's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
So he did, Andy did do well. And I feel like if Sean can get the contact up, he's a contact hitter. I know he had 8 home runs in 2019, but he had 6 homers in a series and 1 against the Gators. And that's not Jorgie and Cheetah. That's Brendan Zerlag and, Nick Baker. So, and a lot of those homers were against Zach Pirog, too. So I think if Sean Flynn can really settle into that contact guy, get on base, get walks, the Cobras are going to be pretty good this year. And so.
Yeah. Also, speaking of Zach Pirog pitching, I know Kelly mentioned it, and I believe their second series, it might have been the Mallard series, but it may have been the Magic series. I thought the Wildcats played it too. They were talking about, okay, we wanted to get someone else on the mound. I think that was the end of their season. Not that Kyle Schultz should have pitched the entirety of it, but having every series they had Kyle pitch 1 and 3 and someone else pitch game 2. I don't think you should have done that until you're either confirmed over 500 or clinched the 1 seed or the playoffs. You shouldn't do that. And I think that was the main fall of them, is the fact that they had other people pitching who couldn't really pitch.
Yeah, I mean, they did have Josh Lucier, who was actually okay in 2019.
He was okay then in the Eagles Gator series. He didn't look like he played wiffle ball since then. So
yeah,
but I mean, he played in the Winter League. I remember,
he did?
Because he had a team. Drew talked about it on the podcast. Lucier had a team, so he played in the Winter League a little bit.
I need to be keeping up with the podcast. I haven't listened to the podcast.
I think that Lucier did pretty good. Honestly,
I think he'll be a very valuable.
I mean, it's hard to win against the perfect game.
Yeah,
and then he also I think it was a 1-0 perfect game, and he pitched pretty well. He just he didn't have any run support. It was him, Grant Smith, and I think some of another
Neil,
I can't remember who it was. Yeah, I think they played that entire game, and
that game was
I think Lucier was the only one who made contact with the ball. I want to say I think Lucier was the only one who made contact, and he made contact 3 times.
And then it was the same thing that they did with the Wildcats. Kyle could have pitched game 3, but they just pitched Saylor and Aguilar, and they didn't do bad. It wasn't like the Preds killed them without Kyle. They didn't do bad. But it was kind of just let the dudes that don't get as much playing time. It's like in the NFL when they've already clinched the 1 seed or something, and they rest their
the last game of the season.
Yeah.
Well, the Chiefs did this season. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I guess now it's moving on to the last hot take, which is mine. So this is going to be a fun one for you guys. So this is my last hot take, is that the championship will be won by a team who has not won it in the past 3 years.
Ooh, so that means let's
pull up. Championship as in ALNL or World Series?
No, the World Series championship.
So let's see.
So you're saying the Cats, the Gators, or the Wildcats won't win it?
Yeah, I think it's going to be won by a new team that hasn't won it in the past 3 years.
That we will have, for I believe the 6th year in a row, a different World Series champion, which means the only teams that are left are the Diamondbacks, the Magic, and the Cobras.
I think there's one that really sticks out to me, and I think like Connor. I know you know the Cobras are your favorite team, but sometimes you.
Oh, I know. Okay, listen. The Cobras are going to win the World Series in 2022.
I said the same thing. It took the Eagles 7 years, and it took 7 years. I feel that there's just something there. So I agree with Connor there. What was I saying before?
You were saying you were talking about a team that stands out to you.
Yeah, I mean, like a lot of times, Connor, like you talk like you're a Diamondbacks fan. I feel like.
Oh yeah, I'm not a Diamondbacks fan.
Right.
Chris Cheatham is my second favorite player. Chadwick is third. Drew's my favorite. But if I had to pick a team to root for in the NL, I would root for the Diamondbacks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you seem to really like them.
So
are we moving on to like
very interesting hot take?
Thank you guys for watching the second episode of Young Guns for our hot takes. Thank you so much for being supportive through this time. Make sure you click the link in the description for our channels. Hit the like button and subscribe. And yeah, we will see you guys next time. I hope we
didn't get too hot in this video.
Yeah, dude, things got really heated. All right, bye guys.
Peace.